der Bühne winken ihr alle. The Puppy, George Noble. Herzlich willkommen.
Well, this Saturday night crowd in Hildesheim are certainly getting value for money, and this is only the third game of the night. All started with a fairly dominant win for Daryl Gurney, 6-1 at the expense of Andy Bolton. But once again, the bar raised extremely high by that brilliant match involving Joe Cullen and the UK Open champion Nathan Aspinall. But it was Cullen who came out on top, both players averaging over a ton. Some brilliant checkouts from both players in that one as well. And now we have the former world champion Rob Cross looking to maintain his run this weekend and maintain his good form on the European Tour of late, because let's face it, he was very unlucky last weekend in Leverkusen in that final against Michael van Gerwen. 3 times a finalist now on the European Tour as well. A former European Championship finalist to boot also. And he's up against this exciting prospect, Ron Meulenkamp, who has had a habit in the past of putting good runs together on this European Tour stage. Meulenkamp against Rob Cross for a race in round 3 to take on Gurney in the last 16 tomorrow. Paul Nicholson alongside me, Rob Malarkey, for this one.
You're insinuating in some sort of way, Rob, that Rob Cross is like the Man City of darts. He can't win in Europe. I can feel the anger, people. I can feel the anger. It's okay. It's just a joke.
An insinuation. It was just a reflection of the truth.
Well, it's only a matter of time before Rob Cross wins in Europe, and it's only a matter of time before Man City do as well, because they've got a fine outfit.
But while we're on that theme of Rob Cross, all those defeats, all 3 defeats in Euro Tour finals, coming at the hands of Michael van Gerwen, German Darts Grand Prix and the European Darts Trophy 2 years ago, and then last weekend in Leverkusen as well. And MVG, who beat him in that European Championship final in 2017 as well, 11-7 in favour of the Dutchman.
Well, a week ago when he was beaten in the final, I'm pretty confident when I say this, that Rob Cross would have won last week's final against anybody else in the world. He was playing out well, and 1 or 2 very, very small mistakes in that final from Rob, and that's all it took to lose to MVG, who was playing his best darts of the entire week on that Sunday evening. So you can't say that he did a lot wrong, but ultimately when you're playing MVG you can't afford any mistakes. Well, that's his mantra, isn't it?
Yeah, and they are in opposite halves of the draw this weekend as well, so they could be in the finals again. A lot of darts has to be played before we can talk about that.
Well, if Max was here, we could have said opposite.
Yeah. Rob Cross has to negotiate this particular hurdle first of all. It's a nice way to start things off as well in this opening leg.
I saw a young lad holding up a 180 sign in the crowd there. He's got a story to tell the kids at school on Monday, hasn't he? So what did you do, young man, on Saturday night? Did you stay in and watch a bit of family TV? Did you watch some cartoons, play a bit of games console? No, I went to the darts. Here's the 180 sign to prove it.
Watching the best of the world, the best in the business.
No mistake about that. That last game was as good as you described. It was just brilliant.
Breathtaking stuff, it really was. Just a shame that Aspinall, in a way, lost his way with the doubles late on, because I think it was the sort of match, I think, that warranted a deciding leg.
There he is. Give us a wave.
He looks like Leighton Bennett, actually.
Probably not that much younger. Seriously.
No.
Leighton's only 13 or 14 years old. Can't even buy a lottery ticket.
Might not need to if his prospectus are anything to go.
Is that the truth? Well, Rob Cross was telling me this morning that he was getting his drive completed in his house this weekend. He's looking forward to going home on Monday. He's been away completely since the Berlin Premier League. He's had a bit of travelling to do. Single 20, leaving that World Championship winning double, a double 16.
See, that's what 400 grand for winning the World Championship does. It's the difference between a new driveway and not.
That was a bit petulant from Ron there. Maybe was a little bit off balance. You can never tell, really. But I get the feeling Rob's going to poke this one out now. It's a good guy just to the right of that. too much. And the double 8's good. And you could say that's a very below par 18-dot leg for Rob Cross. But I mentioned in the Darrell Gurney game at the start of the evening that James Wade this afternoon said he was very tired. He's been away for the same amount of time as Rob Cross and Darrell Gurney. He went to Berlin, which would have been Wednesday of last week. So they did Berlin, then he went on to the European Tour in Leverkusen. Then straight from Leverkusen to Rotterdam, had a double there, and then straight here. So that's quite a schedule. And I get the feeling Rob's really looking forward to going home day, preferably with a trophy in his suitcase.
Yeah.
But likes of Darrell and MVG, I'm sure they're exactly the same.
Well, I was chatting to Mensur Suljovic just a short while ago. He's on stage later against against Ricky Evans, and he had the same schedule. So not only that, he squeezed in an exhibition last night as well. Now, exhibitions aren't, I imagine, particularly arduous, but you are on demand, if you like. You're on stage and you're expected to, I assume, sign autographs, and you are the centre of attention. So that can be, you know, another 5 or 6 hours away from your hotel room.
Well, exhibitions are what they used to be. More events now. I think the colloquial term really is exhibition, but this exhibition was pretty much the size of this place. So it's almost like they had to play one extra game, which in fact may be good for them, just to keep things going.
Yeah.
They may be forced into a false sense of security by having a day off, when in fact they had an exhibition last night. It keeps them in touch, and they have to put in a few hours and get themselves in tune for a Saturday. Why not?
Well, Rob Cross spoke last year about his intensified schedule. Obviously, it's a big transition from the Challenge Tour that he had to the instant success that he had, but not only in terms of the darts he was playing and the higher level darts he was playing, but the demanding schedule, and then of course the Premier League came on board for him as well, and he admitted it took its toll. He also admitted that he put on a bit of weight, but he was addressing that as well.
Double 16 again. He might be back. Rob hasn't had the best of games so far, so you've got to say that he might be and will be.
Well, it's not quite the high-octane start that we had at the opening 4 or 5 legs of the Cullen. Well, I say opening 4 or 5, more like the opening 9 or 10 legs of the Cullen Aspinall match.
Pretty hard to follow. But Rob Cross has followed in the first leg with a slightly better leg.
It's a slower paced encounter, this one. Two finals and a semi-final so far this year for Rob Cross, beaten by Aspinall, of course, in the UK Open final, and once again, as I said, a beaten finalist on the Euro Tour last weekend. Titles for Rob Cross since he won the World Championship. He had a success in June of last year on the Pro Tour, and then he had success on the World Series stage in Pullman as well, where he won his first World Series tournament.
Well, the one scratch he hasn't itched is this one. Got a World Series, got a major, Pro Tour. The only thing left really is to get a European Tour and then start racking up the chalk marks.
Number 2 in the world rankings, number 4 on the Pro Tour order of merit right now. He's seeded 7 here.
Unfortunate.
Points on the floor for the former world champ. Meulenkamp hasn't really got going in this one. He's not really threatened too much, but he took a while to get going, I thought, yesterday against Kim Viljonen. And it was his doubles, really, that helped him out. He admitted himself the scoring wasn't there, 85 average, but 50% strike rate on his doubles, that really bailed him out.
You've got to say so far that Rob Cross's average of around about 91 just now is below par, but we can forgive him that because he's had quite a busy schedule. He's going to have to be grafting this weekend if he wants to go far. Missed 60 from Ron, denies him a shot at double 18 for the leg. Maybe wishing that Rob Cross does not get a shot at his favourite double, which is double 18. At least I think it's his favourite double. He does like double 16, but he lives in the 18 quadrant.
Well, a chance for Meulenkamp on his throw, and you suspect he could do with taking this. Tops he wants, 2 darts at double 20. Only needs the one. Talking of busy schedules as well, just to remind you of where we are on the European Tour side of things. We've got, well, this is the second one of the calendar, but there are 4 before the end of April. There are effectively 4 in the, inside the space of 4 weeks and a bit. At the very start, we've got Munich next at the end of Easter, or the weekend, or the Easter weekend it is. It finishes on the Monday. Mondays are never Monday on the European Tour, Paul. And then we've got Saarbrücken the week after, and then the week after that we're in Graz, then the week after that we're in Sindelfingen. That'll be Euro Tour 6, and then Zwolle before the end of May as well. It is relentless on the European Tour.
It really is, and that turn puts massive emphasis on the qualifiers. It's a very big advantage to have a seeding going into those, in my opinion, because you're not only playing more games as a qualifier, but you've got to play more nights to qualify. So you've got to put in more effort. And then many a story so far this season about qualifiers, and I've used the example on many occasions of one in particular. Klassen has not qualified for the first 4, whereas Steve Beaton has qualified for every one of them so far. And your season is under so much pressure at the end of March because of not qualifying for events. I'll tell you what is a good example. Markbridge qualified for 3 of the first 4. That's a great start of the season for him.
I think Jamie Hughes has had a good strike rate at qualifying, and Josh Payne as well.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Jamie Hughes has qualified for 3 of the first 4 as well.
I'm very happy that I'm going to be watching a bit more Jamie Hughes because he's playing so well right now.
Wow.
Great darts from Rob Cross to set up double 18. Ron is on the fish that is very big, and he has the fish on the hook. He lost the bite.
Yeah, it was some way off in the end. He's smiling about it now. He knows it was nowhere near. And what can you do, Ron? Rob Cross, double 18. Right in the middle.
Standard. I think Ron Meulenkamp's got to put that bull shot out of his mind, because you can tell from his body language that he wasn't pleased with it. But what he can be buoyed with is how he approached that bullseye. 2 very positive darts, maybe his 2 most positive darts of this encounter with Rob Cross. It's a perfect first dart for Rob. Try and squeeze between those 2. Just and he has some hands watching on, as Mike did, who lost yesterday, and Boris Koltsov, our favourite Russian.
Yeah, still here lending their support. Diego Portela is backstage as well. Good use of his time, making good use of the hours and the facilities downstairs to put in some hours on the practice board.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that. When people don't have flights for a couple of days, they could easily sit in hotel rooms and wallow, well, very much like Boris was there, wallowing. But the thing about Diogo and players of his ilk, they are grafters. They're putting on a show on the stage, but they're also putting in the hours backstage. Nice chat was there, Rob Cross this morning, didn't he, with Diogo?
Yeah, while we're waiting for what seemed like an eternity for our, I'm not complaining, by the way, for our transportation to ferriers over here.
It was a good conversation. We were talking about Rob losing a couple of stone and what he's been doing when he's spending time at home, that is, very rarely.
It's not as well, because you get the opportunity in that sort of environment just to talk about other stuff, and I think players sometimes welcome that, the opportunity to talk about something else other than darts.
Oh, they don't want to talk about it, trust me. They want to talk about anything but. We were even talking about the wine festival that's in Hildesheim tomorrow, which is the 2nd most important occasion in Hildesheim tomorrow.
Diogo was just checking whether his favourite Brazilian restaurant was still open in London. He's moved away to Chorley. Meulenkamp looking at tops here for a 160 checkout. Back in business.
Well, in American
missed to the bullseye before.
In American football terms, that's a very long field goal. That's a 60-yarder. Fantastic from Meulenkamp, especially when he had to put that bullseye out of his mind. That's a brilliant finish from Ron.
I think he feels like he's redressed the balance there a little bit. The 170 just passed him by, but makes amends with the 160.
There's one thing about Ron that I'm sure he would want out of his game as well, and that's sometimes in his follow-through it can be a little jerky. If you look at the follow-through of Rob Cross, there's a genuine ferocity of the throw and of the arm going forward. There was a point last year where he was letting the dart go too late, which he has addressed. But sometimes Ron has a dart where the follow-through is a little jerky. He accentuates it with that left throw arm. There wasn't one on that dip. Just watch out for it. Sometimes it can cost him. Great switch from Rob. He knew that if he got 419s there, it would leave 170, but 132 is a plus.
Yeah, it's been one of the recurring themes this weekend, hasn't it? The ability to bring your A game to the stage. And that was a shade of the A game there. Well, no joy here for Cross, but he has got Meulenkamp adrift on 2-7-1 anyway.
96.
And he's left himself that double 18 once again.
Yeah, he really wanted at least 32 there. He didn't want to fiddle with potentially deflecting into the 60 and busting the score. I think that was a very smart play.
126.
Yeah, good pass from Ron. He knew that if he hit a 25 there, he would leave 170. That's, again, good board management. Double 18 then. That's pretty much the same hole as the one before.
Yeah.
I may be wrong, but it looks very similar.
I'm pretty sure it was within a millimetre or so. I think you're absolutely right.
And sometimes you've got to find a puncture mark on the board. Beautiful 180 from Ron. And instead of focusing on the double itself, you look at the puncture mark in the double. And sometimes it's you that's left that puncture mark, and that's what you go for. If you focus on that small dot in that double, or the bullseye for that matter, then the double will look bigger in your eyes. I remember a story that Brendan Dolan took to me, that when he hit the 9-dart at double start in Dublin back in 2011, he saw a small dot in the bullseye before he went for it, and it's almost as if the bullseye was coming towards him. It felt that big, and he didn't think he was going to miss it, and consequently didn't.
No.
He created history.
Well, maybe the crowd are just taking this chance to draw breath a little bit, because they've had that Cullen Aspinall game preceding this one, and on the way next, Peter Wright, who's never shy in coming forward when there's a party on a Saturday night on the European Tour. Yep. Up against Andrew Gill.
Yeah, Saturday night's all right for writing.
Yeah, so maybe the crowd are just keeping something in reserve. It is much slower paced match, this one, but this will suit Rob Cross down to the ground.
Yeah, I think it was impossible not to be gasping a little bit at the last match, and sometimes even fans have to take a little breather. I don't blame them. Now, Rob's got to be crafty here. Might look at 16s now. Well, that may have been the laziest dart he's thrown in the last couple of weeks. Maybe just resigning to the fact that this leg is over. Double 10 for Ron Meulenkamp. Excellent dart. Great finish. To the joy of someone in the VIP area who was going full on with the bongo cam earlier this afternoon, and he was very popular.
Indeed.
And then they had dance cam just before we came on tonight, and he was just as popular then, doing his bongos to dance cam. to a little bit of CNC Music Factory.
Merge the two together.
Takes a special talent to do that.
Well, Rob Cross is a special talent. He's made a very good start to this 8th leg. You get the impression with Rob Cross that he won't mind that Meulenkamp won that last leg. I think it's all about Rob Cross and holding throw here, and if the opportunities do come along on the Meulenkamp throw, then all well and good. There he is. There he is again.
He looks like Crocodile Dundee's uncle. His German uncle.
96.
Well, Rob Cross has got that knack these days of making 100 averages look mundane. And this has been an okay performance from Rob, but he's still averaging 100 points, 101.6. I think he's scored quite well, but some of the doubling has been really efficient. For instance, the 2 shots at double 18, didn't mess around on them. It was there. He got a hit first dart. That's going to do wonders for your average. Overall, the checkouts have been excellent. You can see the face of Meulenkamp there. By not getting a treble in the first 2 darts, he cannot leave a finish, and he gifts the opportunity to Cross with 6 darts from 132, and he doesn't have to go bullseye here, Rob.
Yeah, ton 40 would have left 164. As it is, Rob Cross comfortable on throw once again.
And he leaves 36 again. As soon as he hits that 20, he knows 4 19s come back for double 18. That's someone who knows what to do and when to do it. And 5-3 then. Double 18 again, right in the middle. I think there is a rule, an unwritten one at that. Don't leave Rob Cross on double 18. I think he's rather good at it.
5 from 9 on his doubles so far, Rob Cross. He's averaging over 101. 2 180s in the mix as well. And his highest checkout, 36. Now, people will say, the thing about points at high checkouts, it looks great if you have a string of 3, 4, 5 ton plus checkouts. But if you're getting yourself into position with checkouts of, you know, between, say, 61 and 89 or whatever, it means you're doing the good groundwork. You're getting yourself into position with heavy scoring from the word go. You're not relying too much on a big checkout to bail you out of trouble. And Rob Cross, time and time again, you know, he's getting himself into position where he can take out that 36, and he knows he's going to take it. And not only that, he's hitting it in the same target every time.
I used to say about Phil Taylor that he was never really noted for having a lot of high finishes in his resume, because he was constantly leaving between 81 and 121. And often than not, it was the 76s, the 72s, the 81s that he was taking out with efficiency that really made him the best player in the world. He would hit so many 140s.
Yeah. And it's that consistency that brings rewards in a very different way.
59. No 97 from Rob Cross to leave 170. So Ron gets another poke at the big fish, which he made earlier on. That's a loose one. Has to search, and he invites Rob Cross in. See, if Rob Cross now gets a 140 or something in that region, then he's going to be fit. As it stands, he can only get 58. So Ron gets another chance at this. Now, very similar to the 170, but he only needs 160. 1 treble 20, that is. He's already got a 160 in this match. Or you could just do that and think that Rob Cross is not going to take 150 out. Now, here's the thing. There's a double 18 on the end of this, because he'll go for 2 treble 19s. That's a dangerous game, Ron.
I think that's a very dangerous game. Okay.
Got away with it.
It's all worked at the end, but yeah, that he could. I mean, could have had his fingers burnt there on Meulenkamp. Anyway, he's looking at tops. But again, Rob Cross, it's all about the next leg for him. He's resigned to the fact that Meulenkamp will take out this double 20, and he does.
I'm not going to say that was a little bit of mind games from Ron. I don't think he's like that. And what's more, I don't think you can really say to Rob Cross right now, I don't think you can hit a 150 out. Because he could have gone a totally different way. He could have gone treble 18 first for treble 20 and then over to double 18. He's got all sorts of different ways for things. But he's had so many big finishes this year, you just cannot leave him. There's that dart there, that follow through. It just, the left arm goes behind the back. It's not going down the line of the dart. I'm surprised it's not painful.
96.
Well, someone that knows about losing weight. We talked about Rob losing a couple of stone. Ron's lost a lot more than that.
Yeah, he looks in great shape.
He's lost the equivalent of a Bradley Brooks.
Snatching the darts out of the board there on Meulenkamp. Needs to make his move soon.
Sensational dart from Rob Cross. Almost toying with Meulenkamp from that spot. And he leaves himself the Van Gerwen.
This might things a little bit interesting. Well, he is down to a finish.
It's the Van Gerwen. It's what he hit to get his first major in the World Grand Prix. 57 of them. Looking at treble 16 now. The double top to get it done. His own way.
A 145 check out to seal it for Rob Cross, not to be. Doesn't like it. Beautifully set up. Couldn't find the trigger to execute the tops.
I don't know anybody else in the world who would have gone that way. I really don't. Everybody I know would have gone 60 for 45 or 60 for treble 19 for double 14. But weird and wonderful and very efficient.
But yeah, that way you're in that sort of same segment of the board as well. That's the advantage of doing that. Now, Meulenkamp has got raised eyebrows here. He's just having to recalibrate and refocus.
102.
In the end, smart stuff, but it may be in vain.
It may all be in vain. Rob Cross has been steady and consistent throughout. He's averaging just over 100 right now. The double 10 is eventually found, and that will do for Rob Cross as he looks to make it through to another Euro Tour final for 2019. A nice paced game for the former world champion, and a very lengthy word in the ear of George Noble as well as he makes his way off stage. Ron Meulenkamp will be disappointed that he didn't have the chances to take it to a decider, but you just felt that Rob Cross was always showing a degree of control in that one. And mission accomplished for the number 7 seed, and he advances to round 3 to face Daryl Gurney in the last 16. Tomorrow, Peter Wright, Andrew Gilding on the way next. Let's grab a quick word with the latest winner, Rob Cross.
Rob, congratulations. Average over 100, double percentage around 50. Good statistics for the first match.
Yeah, weird game actually. I thought I was going to sort of go a bit explosive, and I never sort of quite found my feet to where I wanted to be. The way I opened up, I got a sort of a soft lead off run, and then when he started to play, it got a little bit harder. So no, it was nice to see it out on my own throw, and that 160 what he hit when I was sitting on a double, I thought, oh, we might be in trouble here. But no, I see it through really well, and I really enjoyed the match.
And the consistency is back. I mean, last week, the final in Leverkusen, we saw the Premier League in Rotterdam as well on the second day. Yeah, the consistency is back.
Yeah, definitely. I'm a lot happier, a lot happier. And to be honest with you, it just allows me to be me now. Will you go up there, enjoy it, and actually try and get my best stuff out. I don't think really I delivered that tonight, but tomorrow's a different day, and obviously go out there to produce something special again. I'm really looking forward to it. Good night's sleep tonight.
Daryl Gurney's the next one. Interesting match.
It'd be a great match. Daryl's playing really well. I think I got him in midweek and all in Belfast, so it's going to be a nice little tee-up. But in fairness, he's playing great. I think I'm playing well, and I'm going to have to even be better.
Good to have you here. Thank you very much, Rob. Rob Cross freut sich auf das Match morgen gegen Daryl Gurney. Die werden am Donnerstag in der Premier League gegeneinander spielen in Belfast.